I don't know if you know this about me or not. I'm a pastor's kid, and I was raised in the house of God. And I was raised on all those revival services and every extra thing that was going on. I'm a church kid through and through. But just because my parents were pastors didn't mean I wanted to be a pastor. And so throughout my journey, I actually tried everything else but to be in ministry. And not for a bad reason. I think I just wanted to try everything. And I remember getting into my young 20s. Now I'm exiting my college years, played college football, tried to do, anything else other than ministry. And then I felt a call on my life that I needed to jump back in, but I didn't jump back into preaching. I remember I jumped back into a worship team called Worth Dying For, and it was a CCM worship band. We got signed, we got to travel the world. But I remember at that time, my dry soul jumped into a context where we were constantly worshiping God. What changed my life forever, because that was a huge pivot point in my life, to realize that, wait, hold on, I'm trying to run from what God has. What was the thing that grabbed me, that gripped me, that held me down? And I know I had a word from God, but what was it that stopped my running? And it was one thing. It was the presence of God. Throughout the writing of songs and throughout leading other people into worship. And that was just the beginning. And as I went, I got the call into being a pastor, and I was so excited about it. But I'll tell you one thing. My life is built upon seeking after this one thing, like David says in Psalms, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord forever, which I want to dwell in the manifest presence of God. If all of our values, if all of our standards, if everything that we do, all of our disciplines do not reduce down to the Prince of God, I think we're missing it. We will fall for temporary pleasures. We will go and place our life into outlets that give us no validation, but when we're in the presence of God, we will taste and see that He actually is who He said He is. I don't know what it is in your life today. You've been encountering anxiety. You've been encountering depression. You've been encountering breakdowns. You've been encountering struggles. Why don't you flip it today and encounter the presence of God? That is week 3 of promises. It's the promise of God's presence. I don't know if you know this. He is omnipresent. He is everywhere, all places, at all times. And I want to encourage you today, be aware that He is with you right here in this moment, because it could change everything about your day, everything about your mindset, everything about how you raise your kids, everything about your marriage, everything about your job and your finances. The presence of God can reshape and redefine you to your core. We talked about 3 things that the presence of God means. It means He is with me. His presence means He is here in this moment with me. And Jehovah Shammah means He's also there. The Lord is there. It came from Ezekiel. And what He's saying is the Prince of God is with me. It's also with me wherever I go and whatever I'm about to step into, for I do not fear. I know He is with me. So He is with me. The second thing the Prince of God means, He's watching over me. His eyes are on me. Protection, provision. He understands what I'm going through. And I can trust in the fact that when I sleep, He does not sleep. He works all things together for my good. And the last thing that you got to know, yes, He is with you. Yes, He's watching over you, but you got to know He is fighting for you. Oh, that is so exciting to know that I don't have to fight my own battles. Exodus 14:14. God is fighting for you. Just be still. So today, can you rest in the presence of God, knowing that His presence is your confidence as you move into this next season? And listen, if you need any help getting into the presence of God, I'm wearing a house worship hat for a reason. Why don't you go download that album, get it in your spirit, get it in your system. Everywhere you go, driving around, picking up your kids, whatever it is, get the Spirit of God in your life and watch the presence of God shape your life.